Hi, welcome back. In this video tutorial, I will show you how to complete quest number 2. So let's get going. Let's start by checking what's the details of quest number 2 by executing this command. So quest number 2 is bots and games. Leveraging insights from a previous chapter, this section will guide you through the realm of automation with bots in AOS and construction of games. You will learn to create autonomous agents, using them to navigate and interact with game environments effectively. Game ID has been mentioned, that's the process ID of game, and the register and request token commands have also been mentioned. We also have been presented with a link which has the tutorial for bots and games, and the user can get CRED rewards by playing a full game in above arena with the bot, and hence after that you will be rewarded. I would also suggest you to look at quest number 3 because that is also quite related to quest number 2. So I'm going to run this command to see the details for quest number 3. Build a bot. Build a novel autonomous bot for the AO effect arena. AO effect is an arena where autonomous agents living inside the computer battle in order to win testnet cred from one another. Each bot stakes a token to take part in a round, and those that eliminate other bots get to claim their tokens. To qualify for this quest, build a custom bot and launch a new bot for the arena. Game ID has been mentioned, and prerequisites are quest number 2. If you have not completed quest 2, please go back. And how do I get cred? In Discord, post your bot source code in the build a bot review thread. So here, one thing to note is we have to complete quest number 2 in order to proceed to quest number 3. And game ID, which has been mentioned here, please check for it in the Discord channel because there are high chances that this is an old process ID and there would be a new one because the AO team has been updating the game process quite a lot. So let's start. In the first step, we'll just go through the tutorial, which is bots in games index.html. We would also create a bot first and then try to play the game. The reason being, it's very difficult to play the game without the bot because you have to check for many inbox messages and that becomes cumbersome. So do you remember the command by which you can check the latest inbox message? Okay, you can run this command and you'll get the latest message. So actually that's the token which I received. Now I'm going to share with you how we can create the bot and participate in the game. So I checked in the game in the Discord server and I prepared two kind of text documents for you. One contains all the details of this quest and second one is the bot file, which is the bot.lua file which we need to execute. So first I'll show you both the files. So see quest2 bots and game.txt. This I'll be sharing with you. This is the new process ID for the game and these are the commands which we need to run, and this is how the game player can use these commands to navigate in the game. And this is the bot.lua file which I executed for myself. We'll create a new file together. Make sure that this bot.lua file is in the same directly where your aos.json file is. Okay, welcome to the cookbook. The hyper-parallel computer, decentralized compute at any scale, only possible on Arweave. So that's AO for you. Let's go ahead and let's open the details for a tutorial. Bots and games. You must have noticed on the left-hand side, the list has increased. The reason being AO team has been working quite hard to improve the cookbook and add more data to it so that we as users can understand more about the technology and the usage of AO. So, bots and games. Leveraging insights from a previous chapter, this section will guide you through the realm of automation with bots in AOS and construction of games. You will learn to create autonomous agents, using them to navigate and interact with the game environments effectively. What are the sections? Getting started with the game. So let's play a game, experience a game on AOS. Second one is enhancing game interactions with automation, which has 5 subparts. The first one is interpreting announcements, interpret in-game announcements. Second, fetching game state, retrieve and process the latest game state. Third, strategic decisions. Utilize automation to determine your next move. Fourth, automated responses. Streamline attack responses through automation. Fifth, bringing it together. Combine your skills to craft an autonomous agent. Next subpart, next section is game development insights. Sixth one is mechanics of the arena. Explore the underlying mechanics of a game's arena. Seventh, expanding the arena. Build unique game logic upon the arena. And a journey of discovery and creation awaits. Let the adventure begin. Moving on, the first one is let's play a game. You have been powering through tutorials like a champ. Now let's take a refreshing break and dive into something exciting. How about a game that adds a dash of fun to your learning journey? AO Effect, Arena Style, that's the game. So what's the game? AO Effect is a game where you can compete with your friends and other players globally in real time, right from your terminal. We have set up a global game process for this adventure. The rules are simple. Each player starts on a 40 by 40 grid with health at 100 and energy at 0. Your energy replenishes over time to a maximum of 100. Navigate the grid, find other players, and use your energy to attack when they are within the range. The battle continues only until only one player remains or allotted time expires. Check out the guides on mechanics of arena and expanding the arena for deeper understanding of the game. So in more quests, we are required to build a game by ourselves. So hence these two mechanics of arena and expanding the arena tutorials or guides would also be helpful. I would suggest let's go ahead with understanding of at least mechanics of the arena. So AO Effect, which is the game, it's the arena game, and let's understand how it is built. So this guide provides a comprehensive view of fundamental mechanics essential for designing and managing arena-style games in AOS. In arena games, participants engage in rounds, strategically vying to eliminate each other until a sole victor emerges. The framework presented here lays the groundwork for crafting a wide range of games, all sharing the same core functionalities. So understand, the core functionalities would remain the same. So it's important to understand this tutorial very deeply. Explore the intricacies of game development and unleash your creativity within this versatile arena. What are the core functionalities? I think there are 7 in number. Yeah. So let's dive into the core functionalities that power arena-style games. I have noted it down on the text document and I'll share that with you. The mechanics of the game. Game progression modes. Arena games are structured into rounds that operate in a loop while following the progression modes. Not started, waiting, playing, and then someone wins or timeout, and then waiting again. The loop timeout if there are not enough players to start a game after the waiting state. Rounds offer a definite time frame for players to engage, intensifying the excitement of gameplay. So not started to waiting to playing, and then if someone wins or times out, and then waiting again. It comes back to waiting and not started. Token stakes. Players must deposit a specified quantity of tokens defined by payment quantity to participate in the game. These tokens add a tangible stake element to the game. So, payment quantity is the amount which we need to deposit to start to participate in the game. Bonus rewards. Beyond the thrill of victory, players are enticed by the prospect of extra rewards. The builder has the flexibility to offer bonus tokens, defined by bonus quantity, to be distributed per round. Any bets placed by players are also added to these bonuses. These bonuses serve as an additional incentive, enhancing the competitive spirit of gameplay. So it's the bonus quantity which would be distributed per round. And if any player bets more, that is also added to these bonuses. Player management. Players waiting to join the next game are tracked in the waiting table, and active players and their game states are stored in the players table. Eliminated players are promptly removed from players table and placed in the waiting table for the next game. That makes sense. So there are two types of table, waiting table and player table. Waiting table has the list of all participants waiting to play the game, and players have the players who are playing it. Moving on, round winner award reward. When a player eliminates another, they earn not only bragging rights but also the eliminated players deposit tokens as a reward. Additionally, winners of each round share a portion of the bonus tokens as well as their original stake, further motivating players to strive for victory. So it's their stake, but the stake plus the stake of player they eliminated plus the bonus tokens. So it's deposit plus bonus plus original. We can actually change it. It's the deposit, their original deposit plus bonus plus eliminated player. Eliminated players deposit. What's the listener mode? For those who prefer to watch the action unfold, the listen mode offers an opportunity to stay informed without active participation. Processes can register as listeners, granting them access to all announcements from the game. While they do not engage as players, listeners can continue to observe the game's progress until they explicitly request removal. So it's the listen mode. We can also try that. Let me just make a note of it. So instead of register, we can use listen to listen. Listener. Action is listen. Game state management. To maintain the flow and fairness of arena games, an automated system oversees game state transitions. These transitions encompass waiting, playing, and ending phases. Okay. Time durations for each phase, such as wait time and game time, ensure that rounds adhere to definite time frames, preventing games from lasting indefinitely. Wait time, that's for the waiting time. and game time is for the players table. I think you are able to make a connection here. If not, tag me, I'll answer your query. Okay, you can refer to the code for the arena in the drop down below. So that's the blueprint. We are just going through it. We are just going through the blueprint so that you are aware of what is going behind the scenes. And for one of the quests, we have to create our own game. So this would be helpful. Arena game blueprint. For those interested in using this Arenas framework, we have made this code easily accessible through a blueprint. Simply run the following code in your terminal. So that's .load -blueprint arena. Can you recollect the code which we have already used, similar to this one? Yeah, that's .load -blueprint space chat. So understanding the mechanics of the arena can not only help you improve your autonomous agent created in the previous section, but also empowers you to harness core functionalities for crafting your unique games. In the upcoming section, Building a Game, we will dive deep into the art of utilizing these mechanics to construct captivating and one-of-a-kind games within this framework. Get ready to embark on a journey into the dynamic realm of game development. Okay, that's great. Let's see what's in the next page. I think it's about writing the code and writing the game. So at this moment, it's not required. We'll go back to first participating in the game. Before we go through the registration and confirming the spot part, I think let me just discuss how the bot is made. Or we can just go through it once and then I will also summarize it again. So to prepare, we have to install launch. That's the game ID, which you have to check in the Discord server before executing because that keeps on changing. To register, we have to first register. Then to confirm the spot, we have to first request for tokens and then pay the quantity. And then in the mechanics, in the game mechanics, we have to first move to gain energy. Do you remember there were two parameters? One was health and one was energy. Health is 100 at the beginning and energy is 0. By moving, we increase the energy and then use the energy to attack the other player. So these are the available moves: up, down, left, right, up, left, down, right, down, left, and then time to strike. With this command, we strike. One thing which I want to share is in the game, everything is a message. All the commands, all the moves which you make is through messaging. So by using send command, by using this command, we actually play our game. So first let's discuss about creating a bot. And in that, one command is quite helpful, which I would just write it down for you, which is the inbox square bracket hashtag inbox command, which helps us to see the last message in the inbox. So what would happen is after you register and participate in the game, start participating, there would be a lot of announcements. And then to check the announcement, you'll have to run this command and then understand what the announcement is. Accordingly, move your player or use the command to attack the other player so that you move to the next step. So what would a bot do? Bot would help us in reading the announcements in a terminal directly. Instead of using the inbox square bracket hashtag inbox closed square bracket command, the bot would help us directly revealing what the message is. So that would help us in orchestrating our moves and attacking the player so that we can win the game. So I hope announcements are clear. Announcements are messages which are dropped directly into the inbox and we have to check it regularly. So what about having a bot? I think that's a good idea. So let's understand this part. Welcome back to your coding journey. It's time to use the skills you have acquired from previous tutorial to enhance your gaming experience. During the game, you have likely noticed announcements appearing in your terminal. These announcements are the game's way of communicating important events to the players. However, these messages can sometimes seem cryptic, or you might find yourself checking your inbox frequently for further details. Wouldn't it be convenient to access this information directly from your terminal? Yeah, well, there's a way to do that. So this lines this line also mean that the bot would help us accessing the information directly from the terminal without us checking the information again and again. So by using handlers, you can create autonomous agents to retrieve this information for you, marking the progression from simple bots to entities capable of interpreting and acting on game events directly. What are handlers? Handler library provides a flexible way to manage and execute a series of handlers based on patterns. Each handler consists of pattern function, a handle function, and a name. And these are so many handlers. Great. The code is well written. The cookbook is also well written. Moving on, setting up the development environment. Start by creating a new file named bot.lua in your preferred directory. So that preferred directory is the directory where you have that .aos.json file. Okay, this means the same. Ideally, this file should be placed in the same directory where your player process runs to ease the loading of the code. Else you will need to use a relative paths to access the file. See, I have created another empty bot.lua file and I'm going to write it in front of you step by step. So let's dive into the logic. Each handler in AOS requires three pieces of information. See, a pattern, a handle function, and a name. So name, a unique name for the handler, pattern, a pattern for handler to identify, triggering its operation, and handle, the operations to perform when the desired pattern is found. Name is there once that handler identifies a pattern. This is the operation which the handler executes. Simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Here's how you can write a handler for printing announcement details. This is essentially what we wanted to achieve, isn't it? Just copy the command, everything, and copy and paste it here. Press Ctrl S, move ahead. In this case, the name of the handler is print announcement. Print announcements. It uses a special inbuilt utility, has matching tags. That's the pattern detector. To check the incoming messages has been tagged as an announcement. As an announcement, this checks, and if true, the handler prints the event and data which represent the title and description of the assignment of the announcement. Event and data which represents title and description. Once a message is handled, it will be discarded from your inbox. So inbox won't be populated. Loading and testing. Let's bring this to life in a game. Navigate to your AOS player's terminal and enter a game session. So we'll do that later. The process to entering a game session. So after that, we'll have to activate the handler. Activate the handler by loading your bot.lua file with .load bot.lua. See, our commands are very simple and there's a lot of similarity. Because it's a customized file, we are using .load function. Otherwise, we could have used .blueprint-load. No, actually, it was .load. Okay, it was something like that. I will just check. It was .load-blueprint and chat. Chat is a predefined file. Similarly, we have .load bot.lua, but it's a customized file which we have created. You can also change the name. Probably you can do it bot your name.lua, but that would also work. You will now see game announcements appear directly in your terminal, offering real-time insights without the need to sift through your inbox. Congratulations! You have just taken a first step in building a bot on iOS. But let's keep working on adding more features to it. Fetching game state. Now that you are seeing game announcements directly in your terminal, you have a better grasp of the game's dynamics. However, these insights are limited to specific actions occurring within the game. Wouldn't it be more useful to have an on-demand access to comprehensive game data like the positions, health, and energy? So these are the only three things which are related to each player. Position, that's something by default. Health, that's 100 by default, and energy, that's 0. This information could significantly improve your strategic planning, helping your assets assess threats, opportunities, and timings more effectively. If you thought of adding another handler to the bot created in the previous guide, you are absolutely right. So we are going to add more information. So go back to the file and update your existing handler as follows. Handler.add handle announcements has matching tag. This is the same one. And we have send and print. So we have renamed it to handle announcements to reflect its broader role. Nothing. Print announcements have been changed to handle announcements. Addition of an extra operation to request the game for updated state. The game is designed to respond to get game state action tag, which we already know. See, I'm not written it, but I'll just write it here. This is also a good command. You can use it to check the state of the game. When you get a print of the announcement, you can check the latest message in your inbox as follows. Which we already know. So moving ahead, the data field of this message contains the latest state of the game, which includes game mode, whether the game is in waiting or playing state, that we know, and there are corresponding timers to it. One is related to the waiting table and one is related to the playing state. The time remaining for the game to start or end. So for waiting also there's a time limit, and for playing also there's a time limit. Players, a table containing every player's stats like position, health, and energy. Okay, every player has three unique elements associated to it, or three dimensions. One is position, second is health, and the third is energy. But this can take up a step further so that you cannot just read but also use information from the latest state of other automations. Let's define a new variant that stores the latest state as follows. Latest game state is latest game state or nil. Okay, we are storing the game state. The syntax preserves existing values of the variable when you load successive iterations of the file in your terminal instead of overwriting it. Okay, if there is no pre-existing value, then nil value is assigned to the variable. So it says syntax preserves the existing value of variable when you load successful iterations. So when we load the file again and again, the existing values are preserved because this is how the command would run. Then implement another handler as follows. Handler to update the game state and upon receiving game state information. That's the name. That's the, what do you call? There are three parts to a handler. Are you able to recollect that? Yeah, again, each handler consists of a pattern function, handle function, and a name. So that's the name. That's the name. Then we have the pattern function. That's the pattern, and that's the handle function. Handler has a name. That's the pattern, and that's the handle. So copying it, we have to first copy this as well. And then copy this. See, latest game state, which we have already defined above. And first, that's the printing announcement thing. And then this code is to update the game state upon receiving the game state information. That's the name. That's the pattern. Pattern is the game state, and that's the handle. Okay, moving ahead. We have repeated so many times so that you are able to understand it well. I hope it's clear for you. And you don't have any queries. If you have any queries, don't hesitate. Ping us, ping me, and I'll try to resolve it. The response from the game process from the previous handler has an action tag with game state that helps us trigger the second handler. Once triggered, the handle function loads the inbuilt JSON package that parses the data into JSON and stores in the latest game function. So I'll try to explain. The response from game process from the previous handler as an action tag with value game state. Okay, see, game state is there. And then this helps us trigger the second handler, which is this one. And once triggered, the handle function loads in the build on JSON file and parses the data into JSON and stores in the latest game state. With this is triggered. This code gets the data and stores in this variable. Moving ahead. This handler additionally sends the message to your process indicating when the state has been updated. The significance of this feature will be explained in the following section. You can refer to the latest code in the drop-down. So, see, instead of defining the variable in between, which is not a good practice, we will define it at the top. That's the first handler, that's the second handler. I'm just going to replace the code. Moving ahead. Loading and testing. As usual, we know it already. To test this feature, we have to load the file as follows .load pot.lua. Then check the latest state variable to see if it has updated correctly by simply passing its name as follows, latest game state. I'm noting it down because we have to execute it after we register. So these are the actions to be taken when we participate in the game. Participate in the game. In the game. And we have to also load the file load pod.lua. Do you remember the command .load dash blueprint space chat? Yeah, that's for loading the predefined functions. So with real-time access to the latest state of the game, bot, your bot is equipped to make informed decision, decide your next action. Next, let's try automating actions with the help of this data. Okay, strategic decisions. With the latest game state at your disposal, your bot can evolve into an autonomous agent. Autonomous agent which takes actions by itself. This transition marks an upgrade in functionality, enabling not just reactions to the game states, but strategic actions that consider context, energy, and proximity to make decisions. So basically, we have to consider the context, we have to understand the energy of the player and proximity in order to attack. That's the decision which we have to make. So writing the code. Return to your bot.lua file and add the following functions. So first we have to determine the proximity with this function in range x1 by 1, x2 by 2 range. If this is less than equal to range or this is less than equal to range, then we have to return the value. Strategically decides on the next move based on the proximity and energy. So based on these values, our bot would decide if player energy is 5 and target is in range, then attack or otherwise not attack because player is in the range but inefficient energy. So player has to be in the range, energy has to be more than 5 to attack. That's the main point which we have to understand. The decide next action function is now a testament to our agent's ability to think and act on comprehensive understanding of the environment. Yes, it analyzes the latest game state to either attack if you have sufficient energy and an opponent is in range or move otherwise. Now all you need is a handler to make sure this function runs on its own. So I'm going to append this in my bot.lua file. Moving ahead, I'm going to add this value as well. Decide next action, name of the function, has matching tag, that's the pattern, and that's the handle. See, pattern, handle, name. We start with name, we check the pattern, and then we have our commands in the handle function. This handler triggers upon receiving a message that the latest game state has been fetched and updated. An action is taken only when the game is in playing mode. You can refer to the latest code in the drop-down below. Let us compare our code with this. We have this for sure. Then do we have handle announcement? Handle announcement is there. Update game state is also there. These are the values which we need. These are not the handlers per se, but these are some variables and functions which have to be described above all the code. And then we have the decide next action handler. So all the handlers are in between. First you declare the variables, then you have the functions, and then you have the handlers. This is how the code has to be written. So we can just simply replace this code. All good so far. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Loading and testing. Once again, we know we have to load the file in the AOS player terminal with this command. So observe your process output to see the decisions your autonomous agent makes in real time, leveraging the current game state for strategic advantage. But what if another player attacks you and runs away while you are deciding the next move? In the next section, you will learn to automatically counter as soon as you have been attacked. So far, we have understood how to handle announcements, how to make an autonomous agent which gets the current game state and then strategically decide if we need to attack or not basis if our player is within the range and has energy more than 5. Following our last guide, our creation has promoted from a simple bot to an sophisticated autonomous agent. Now let's further enhance its capabilities by adding a counter-attack feature, allowing it to instantly retaliate against the opponent's attack, potentially catching them off guard before they can retreat to safety. So add the following handler to the file and viewer set. So these are the handler. Do you remember where we need to add the handlers? Yes, at the bottom. So I'm just going to copy it and paste it in my code at the bottom. So when your player is under attack, you receive a message with the action hit. Action is hit. Let me go through it. Name of the handler is return attack. That's the pattern checker and that's the handler. That's the handle basically. So when your player is under attack, you receive a message with action hit. So that's the hit message. Then this setup ensures your agent can make a swift counter attack given it has sufficient energy. See, if player energy with latest game state, if player energy is undefined, then print unable to read the energy. If player energy is 0, of course it has insufficient energy. If attack fair, player has no energy, else returning attack. Basically, if it is more than 0 energy, then a player would attack and tick is the action which we'll get. So we can refer to the latest code. These are the variables, these are the functions, and then player energy, we have already seen this. These are the handlers. Handler announcements is one, update game state is another, decide next action is another. Then we have return attack, that's the last one. So in all, that's the bot.lua file which we were looking for. Thank you, AOS team, for sharing this code with us. Our bot creation has been so simple. AO team is working quite hard to make sure that everyone understands the code and everyone is comfortable in executing all the commands. Thank you, team. Loading and testing. To activate and test the counter-attack feature, load the bot file in your AOS player terminal. That's the .load bot.lua. Watch your terminal for autonomous agents reactions, now with the added ability to retaliate instantly. This feature showcases the agent's evolving strategic depth and autonomy. In the upcoming section, we'll consolidate all the knowledge we have gathered so far and add some features for optimization. Okay, bringing it together. This final guide wraps up our series where you have built an autonomous agent piece by piece. Now let's refine your agent with some optimization that's fine-tune its operation. Here's a quick overview of the key improvements made so far. Sequential command execution. The introduction of in-action flag ensures that your agent actions are sequential. Next action occurs only when the previous is successfully executed. This critical addition prevents your agent from acting on outdated game states, enhancing its responsiveness and accuracy. The full implementation can be found in the final code. So this is a variable which we need to add at the top. Moving ahead, dynamic state updates and decisions. The agent now employs an automatic tick logic, allowing for dynamic updates and decisions. This logic enables the agent to self-trigger state updates and make subsequent decisions either upon receiving a tick message or upon completing an action promoting autonomous operation. Tick message is the message is announced at a retaliation. So this is, I think we can add it in between. These are all the handlers. So let me check. Yeah, this is a handler as well. See, that's the get game state on tick handler. Has matching tag, that's the pattern, and that's the handle function. Automated fee transfer to further streamline its operation and ensure uninterrupted participation in game, the autonomous agent now autonomously handles the transfer of confirmation of fees. Okay, auto pay is the handler. We'll just add it at the bottom. In addition to these features, we have also added a logging function for debugging purposes and colored prints for better comprehension of game events. These enhancements collectively make our autonomous agents more efficient and adaptable in game environment. Check out the complete file in the drop-down below with all the new additions highlighted accordingly. See, these are the two variables. Logs have been added, colors have been added, functions are there. Then we have the handler, print announcements, get game state on tick, auto pay is also there, update game state is also there, decide next action is also there. Then we have return attack and we have the tick action. I must congratulate you for understanding the code along with this discussion. We are just going to replace the code and our bot.lua file is ready for action. So you are now equipped with the knowledge to craft intelligent autonomous agents. It's time to apply these insights into the game world. Understand the game's intricacies and leverage your agent's capabilities to dominate the arena. But there is more to come. In future sections, we'll dive deeper into the game arena, offering advanced strategies to elevate your agent's performance. Ready to take on the challenge? Let's see what you can create. So we'll create a bot. We'll improve this bot in our quest number 3. For now, let's jump back to playing the game. So this is where we were. I think we were at this place. So we have to prepare for the adventure. To join this global escapade, you will need to set the things up. Don't worry, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. First, install AOS by firing your terminal and running this command, which we already have done. Then we have to launch AOS. Create your instance of AOS by running AOS command, which already we have done. So setting up the game ID. Let's keep our game ID, game server ID handy for quick access, which is this. But before we continue, please check. I would like to suggest to you that please check the Discord server for the latest game ID. I've already noted down it for you. This is this one. Okay, before pasting the game, this command with game equal to the process ID, I also want to discuss this command with you. This is to check the balance. So you have to send this, you have to execute this command to check the balance, or otherwise you can also use CRED.update command to check your CRED balance. So this is the process ID for CRED token. Okay, let us start. Let's first execute this command. We have initialized, we have defined game equal to the process ID as shown on the screen. And voila, you are all set to join the game. How to register for a game? Ready to jump in? Just a few simple steps to get you going. Register with the game server. All the communication between the processes and AO occurs through messages. We already know that. To register, send this message to the game server. This places you in the waiting lobby. A small fee is needed to confirm your spot. So I'm going to execute this command now. Before executing, I want to show the other command so that we are all set for the game. We'll come back to this, don't worry. So let the game begin. Game mechanics. Game start. The game begins after a 2-minute wait time if at least 2 players have paid. Non-paying players are removed. If not enough players pay, those who did are refunded. So we need at least 2 players. Players spawn at random grid positions when the game begins. So we'll be given a random position after the game is begun. Uh, to make a move, the first thing you can to do is to move around. No energy is required. You can shift from one square in any direction, up, down, left, right, or diagonally. Along with the direction, you must also pass your player ID to help the game identify your move. So this is how you can make the move. See, I've already written it down. Target equal to game, direction equal to down, right? So this I created for all the directions. I also suggest that you do the same for you. The available moves across the grid are as follows. So up means y equals to -1, down means y equals to 1, and accordingly we have all the directions from up, down, left, right, and on the diagonals we have up, right, up, left, down, right, down, left. So I've already first pasted this, and accordingly I created these commands for movement. So if you move off the grid, you will pop on the opposite side. So don't worry. If you move on one side, extreme of the one side, on the left or the right, you will come out of the other side. So launching an attack. As the game progresses, you will accumulate energy. Use it to attack other players within the 3x3 grid range. Your attack won't hurt, but it will affect others in range. So send target game action, attack energy integer. Health starts at 0 and decreases with hits from other players. Reach 0 and it's game over for you. So to attack, you need to gain energy. To gain energy, you have to move around. If you are getting attacked by some other player, your health would decrease. And if it becomes 0, you will be thrown out of the game. Health and energy are 2 separate aspects and one is the position. So there are in total 3 aspects to one player. So game ends when there is 1 player left or time is up. Winners receive rewards and it's back to the lobby for another round. Enjoyed the game? What if there was a way to make your experience even better or boost the odds of winning? Check out the next kind to find out more, which we have already done. So nutshell, this is the summary. We understood the mechanics of the game. We understood bot.lua file. And these are the actions which we need to perform. We first input the game ID, which started with TM and ended with 9i. Next is the registering with the game server by using this command. I'll just read it out again for you. So I faced a lot of challenges while executing the code and there were many errors. This is the final version which I have prepared for you. Over the last few days, I faced a lot of challenges in completing this quest. So I want to appreciate the effort of AO team for helping me out. A big shout out to John, Johnny, Ringo, Williams, Rakesh, and AO team for debugging and helping me out. These are the final approaches for completing this quest. So approach 1 is without the bot. We have to execute these commands starting with game equal to the process ID of the game or the construct ID, and then send register, send request tokens, send transfer the amount, and then once the message ready to play is displayed on the screen, we have to move the player and launch the attack. Here you should know that energy integer is a placeholder and you have to replace it with some numerical value. Second approach is by using a bot you can play. So remember, movement and attack happens automatically with the bot and you don't need to do anything. So in this, we'll define the game first, game element that is, and then we'll execute send register, send request token, send transfer quantity. And after the payment transfer has been completed and the ready to play message is displayed on the screen, we have to wake up the bot by executing these commands. In action is equals to false and then send and with this tick in double quotes. The reason is many a time the bot actually sleeps. So it's not able to execute the task and it would say the task is pending and it's keeping. So we have to take care of that. So, and in the end, we have to execute unregister. I'll just remove it from here because this is a common part for both the process. And in case of no action, we have to check the status of bot by just executing in action. And if you get the output true, you have to wake up the bot by completing step 1 again, which are these commands. To claim the CRED rewards, you have to first unregister yourself from the game. And if you are successful, reward would be automatically processed for this quest. Some other important commands are to check the last message, you have to execute inbox with the hashtag inbox command. Check the game state by using latest game state. This would show all the process IDs which are participating in the game along with their positions of X and Y coordinate or Y or X coordinate, their health and their energy. And to check the game's token balance, you have to send this command with target equal to game and action equal to balance. To update CRED balance, you have to execute this command with send target equal to the ID of CRED and action equal to balance, or you can just use CRED.update. So I'm just going to show how the process went for me. I started loading bot.lua by using this command .load space bot.lua. Then passed the process ID in the game variable and then registered myself by using this command and say I got this message, my ID was registered. And then I processed this command to request tokens, request token command, and message was added to the outbox with the credit notice. So do you remember what's the next step? We are using an approach 2 here. So in this, with the bot, transfer was done. And after this ready to play message is displayed on the screen, we should have executed this command. So because I did not execute, I was trying to debug and got a lot of messages. I tried to send the tokens again and again, but still I was facing a lot of challenges to play. I was constantly getting the message that player is ready, but still the game wasn't starting for me. Then I tried for by checking the latest game state. Still my ID wasn't the part of the entire list, and I waited for multiple rounds. See, previous action still in progress, skipping. If you see this message, then you should understand there is some challenge and you can execute the inaction. What's the command? Inaction equals to false and send target ao.id action equal to tick. Starting waiting period. So I was just trying to debug, but I wasn't successful. And with the help of AO team, I was able to complete this quest. I ejected myself from the game. My ID was ejected, was removed from the game. I checked my CRED balance if I was successful, but still it remained the same. So I kept on debugging. Then I again loaded bot.lua, registered again, and then transferred the tokens again, but still it still wasn't working for me. So inaction equals to false. I tried that, but still there was a challenge. So I'll just fast forward to the main point. See, I checked for latest game state again, but still my ID wasn't the part of the list. I again tried inaction equal to false, CRED.update, balance update requested, but still there was no change. See, my ID is still not there. Again, the same thing. Again, I kept on sending the token money, but still I couldn't be the part of the game. And then I also checked about the inbox message to see what was the token balance for me. I typed in the incorrect command. So I tried to check the inbox. I tried to check the token balance because I was removed from the game. I thought that I didn't have enough balance. Here I used an incorrect syntax, so hence got a very long message. But don't worry if you get such kind of messages, that's okay. So again, I tried to debug, again send some tokens, but still I was in either in the waiting pool or wasn't the part of the main playing pool. So lastly, what happened? I executed inaction and got the message true. So I got to know that my bot wasn't working correctly. So hence I again executed inaction equals to false command and then executed send with the tick command, and then my bot started working correctly. See, now the error message of skipping the commands was not there for me, and I also again initialized game ID with the process ID which I mentioned in the code, and then it started working for me. From this point onwards, I was sure that the bot was working perfectly and the quest was getting completed. So see, latest game state, it was the waiting pool and no such error messages kept on repeating for me. Sometimes, yes, I got this message of previous action still in progress, but overall, the player movement was happening properly. Uh, Deciding the next action was also an output made by the bot, and no player in range or insufficient energy moving randomly. These kind of messages starting appearing on the screen. So the game will start in this much second. I got that message. I checked the latest game state, and then I found that I was part of the list. See, my Y coordinate, X coordinate, energy, and health were shown in the table. And then starting waiting period, deciding next action. These kind of messages kept on repeating. So that meant that bot was working perfectly and the movement of the player was happening. So game ended. Congratulations, the game has ended. Remaining players at conclusion 21. I was one of them. I again tried to check the CRED balance. I thought that automatic update would happen, but the new message debit happened automatically because that's the part of the bot's code. And I again ended up playing the entire round. See, this is my process ID. And again, the debit happened because it was an automatic debit. And then I executed the command to unregister myself, which is the send and unregistered command. And I was unregistered from the pool. Finally, I was ejected. With this, quest 2 has been completed. All the best for your attempt. In case you have any queries or doubts, you can ping me or tag me and I'll try to help you out. All the best. Have a good day.